tell you, you know what, we had some high expectations because we just knew what we had. We knew what we had offensively. We knew what we had defensively. You know, kind of coming into the season. And, you know, when guys are playing together, you know, and you know, we're talking about time now where OTAs, and then, of course, you know, you get into summer camps, the mini camps, you see what is out there on the field. You see what is playing beside you, and you see what's on the other side of the ball. So we had high expectations. I mean, that season, when I say about it, is when we came in, one thing that we knew, and, you know, we always want to say you're extensions of your coaches. And so Coach Tramiel was very, you know, very sure about, like, listen, look, we got a chance to do this thing. We got a chance to win a championship this year. You know, here's the rules. This is how we're going to do it. Put the plan in motion, and let's get it done. And so with Al Saunders, you know, just offensively, what he was able to do as far as getting the guys put in order in the pieces, man, like I said before, man, we knew that we had a wonderful team. We knew we had a wonderful team. But it was, to me, 2003 was one of those seasons that, you know, when you start getting rolling at the very beginning, it's like, okay, look, we got to do this. And then all of a sudden there's a point of confidence. Like, look, man, we're unstoppable. The only one that's going to beat us is us. And so when you start having that sentiment like that in the locker room, you know, in the meeting rooms, that's a great place to be. And so we knew that, you know, at that point, you know, early on in the season, that, you know, we had all these different weapons around, man. All the guys, you know, I look at it like all the guys were healthy, you know, just playing at a high level. And, you know, the fans were just incredible. But it was an atmosphere that any team would want to be in. And the greatest part of it was when we were rolling and we was undefeated. You know, that whole, I think of 2000 when Chad Johnson made the prediction about, you know, getting this guy, you know, we're going to beat him. Like, we didn't really care about that. You know, our sights was set on, you know, one thing, one goal only, and that was the Super Bowl. And so, unfortunately, we lost that game, and it was just like, okay, all right, we got this. But it was like, all right, let's get this out of the way, because then everybody was kind of talking about, like, going undefeated and all these other things that we were, you know, kind of get to that conversation when you're undefeated at the point. But we knew we still had, you know, a difficult task when we had to make the playoffs. And that was like one of the things that you really was on the radar. Like, look, you know, you still have Peyton Manning out here that you had to, you know, contend with, you know, if he makes it. And, you know, all the other ones in the AFC, we didn't really, you know, care about the ones that's playing in our division as much. You know, I think we pretty much knew that we had their number, you know, going in. You know, Raiders was always going to be a hard game, and Denver was going to be a hard game. Yeah. But, you know, we just didn't feel like they had the firepower that we had. So, but, you know, 2003 to me, man, was just, it was a great season, but just a disappointment of not being able to finish it up and win a Super Bowl was the most disappointing thing. I think at that time, in that moment, without a doubt, I think was one of the best Chiefs teams ever, you know, in my estimation.
Eric and I talked about that no punt game, and he gave me, you know, from a defensive perspective, you know, the whole no punt thing as a defensive player, it's kind of a hard one to swallow. As an offensive player, did you guys ever at the sideline at any point in time, whether it was with your teammates or the coaches, did the topic of no punts ever come up, you know, in the third or fourth quarter of that game?
No, you don't talk about things like that. I mean, because punting is just a regular faction of what you do in a game, right? It's just like, you know, that's why you get like all three phases of the game prepared, right? Offense, defense, special teams. So that's a natural process. You just think, you know, you're going to punt anyway. And to be honest with you, I guess when you're in an offensive mindset and you're just moving the football, you're scoring touchdowns, you're not even, like, the punting thing didn't even really come up, you know, because you're just so in tune to what you're doing right now. And so I think, you know, when it starts saying, like, well, we ain't punted this game and stuff like that, I think when you look back on it, I know after the game was up, like, man, we didn't punt at all. But like I said, at that moment, we were playing at a high level. Man, Priest was a workhorse in the backfield. I mean, Trent was just throwing darts out there. Guys are just, you know, catching, balls and just making moves, man, we were rolling. We were absolutely rolling. And the thing is, we knew it was going to be a shootout with Peyton anyway.
Yeah.
We had a lot of confidence in our defense, and I know E said, it was kind of disappointing, but we had confidence in our defense. We really did. Unfortunately, it didn't get to happen. And then, of course, Priest fumbling, was another thing that rarely happens. Priest, he never fumbles a football. It really happens with Priest. And so it was just one of those things that was kind of unfortunate, to happen. But, yeah, no punts in the game. I would have never thought in a million years something like that would happen. So, yeah, you don't think about things like that.